Good morning. Hear these words as Kathleen lights our chalice. Let there be light. Let it shine in dark places, in moments of pain, in times of grief, in the darkness of hatred, violence, oppression. Where there is discouragement and despair, wherever darkness is to be put to flight, let there be light. Will you join in our affirmation? Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Welcome to People's Church. We are a welcoming congregation and an eighth principle congregation. This means we welcome people of all sexual orientations and genders, all races, all ethnicities. We are anti-racist and anti-oppression toward all groups of people, and we act on our beliefs. We welcome you whether you are a long-term member, a first-time visitor, or somewhere in between. We welcome you to walk with us as we all take our spiritual journeys through life, regardless of background, religious history, belief system, love life, social status, body type, or age. All are welcome here. We welcome you whether you feel weak and unsure, emotionally, physically, financially, or strong and ready to take on the world. We welcome you whether you question your identity at the deepest levels or are confident you know exactly who you are. Everyone is warmly welcomed at People's Church. Hello again. My name is Kathleen. I'm one of the worship associates here at People's. I'm joined today by Judy on the piano, Jackie and Gary running the tech, Bill running the sound system. Our interim director of faith formation, Andrea Hawkins-Kemper, is sharing the time for all ages, and our interim minister, Reverend David Wise, is preaching, and Chris and Brian Davis are providing our special music. Few announcements. Easter egg hunt. Andrea, is there an age limit? Just checking. Meet Andrea under the portico, which is there, I think, for directions. We're having a field trip this afternoon to the Cedar Rapids Art Museum at 1:30. The main exhibit of interest highlights Black women suffragists and those who continue to fight for civil rights. The Cedar Rapids artist who did these paintings says, "We need to understand and educate ourselves about these women of color who've been doing so much amazing work." We, as UUs, tend to learn about white women suffragists, not just UUs, we as Americans learned about white women suffragists in our history education, but the work of Black suffragists has gone largely unnoticed. Admission is $8 for adults, $7 for adults over 62, $4 for kids ages 6 to 18, children under 5 are free. If there's any issue with that admission fee, if that's any challenge, please see Pastor David if you want to join. For those of you who may not have been online or in person to hear the search team update, the Cliff Notes version is this. We continued with the second round of search for this search year. We did not match. We were not necessarily surprised. So the plan is for the search team to take a 2-month hiatus, get our I's uncrossed, and get geared up because we are at this point planning to go into a new search process beginning for this search year, 22-23. The good news is the vast bulk of the work is done. So we will be refining. We may come to you with some very, very targeted questions, but please hear this. We will not ask you to do the same survey over again. You will escape that. So that is the deal. As always through this process, we have been very picky. We are not willing to settle for a warm body because we deserve better. And so we're hopeful that we will find one on this next round of search. And our interim, Pastor David, is graciously going to be our second-year interim minister while we get this squared away. I believe Diet Cokes would be an appropriate form of thank you. I'm just saying, or Evian. For the past few years, our People's Social Justice Group has been exploring ways for us to become more aware of inequities that U.S. citizens, as well as our Cedar Rapids neighbors, have been enduring. We continue our education and will now study the indigenous Americans. We are all invited to join in the spring book study. The book is called Braiding Sweetgrass: Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teaching of Plants. From the author's role as a professor of environmental biology, she presents earth science principles. As a member of the Potawatomi tribe, she introduces the indigenous people's sacred kinship with the earth and also the inequities in her tribe's continuing journey. Be sure to check out the e-weekly for more information and to learn how to sign up. The annual meeting is May 15th following worship. There will be a bright yellow postcard coming in the mail within the next 2 weeks that will have all the details in it. Now, David has just a couple things to share.
First of all, Bill, when Kathleen was speaking, I was hearing a high pitch noise. This week, we will have new Wi-Fi installed in the building. The purpose of having it installed is so we can have Wi-Fi in the entire building, which is something that we don't have right now and something that we really, really need to have throughout the building. So it will be installed this week. We are also installing some cameras. The cameras will be outside looking at the entrances and the sides of the building. We have not had any issues other than about 20,000 gallons of stolen water. But with it being an election year, with us taking some stands that are not necessarily mainstream in some areas, the idea of being protected is a little bit better than not being protected with that. There will be strict rules and policies about the cameras and their use by other entities as well. In addition to the ones outside, we're putting 2 down in the nursery so that our children are protected as well as our child care workers will be protected as well. That's just a good safeguard for us to have in place. Now, let me ask you this question. How many of you came in either the Gordon Avenue entrance or you came in through the Portico parking lot entrance down here? How many of you came in that way? Okay, keep your hands up. How many of you noticed something new? What did you see? On the wall. Exactly. We now have words inscribed on the walls on the Portico side and the Gordon Avenue side. The portico says, love is the spirit of this church. The Gordon Avenue side says, a welcoming spiritual home. So when you come in those entrances, take a look at that and see those. Marion wanted to put it out on Facebook last night, and I told her no, because I wanted to see how many people would notice it when they came in the building this morning.
Can I do it now?
You can do it now. You can even use your phone during church if you can get Wi-Fi. A thank you to the interiors team for initially suggesting that idea in their comprehensive planning. Joe Wasta, David, and Angie helped create the words and the phrases that we would use, and Marcy and Christine made it come to pass with the work of the Allegra folks. So now, folks, I do invite you into our worship time, and let our worship begin with our prelude. I'm going to invite you to share in the opening words this morning in this litany by the Reverend Caitlin Cotter Coilberg. When I indicate with my hands, I would invite you to respond with the words, "We grieve together." This morning's focus is on that of gun violence and the impact that it has on us. And if that is an issue that causes some difficulties for you, I would invite you to feel free to take a break from the worship service this morning, leave us on Zoom, Facebook, or YouTube, wherever you might be, and find a place of peace and comfort for you, because there might be parts of the service that are a little difficult for you. Your response is, "We grieve together." As the news cycle brings us images of terror and heartbreak once again, As each of us faces into this new level of horror, as we remember other moments of pain, fear, and loss, yearning for an end to violence and suffering, yearning for a true peace where all feel safe and whole, yearning for greater justice, compassion, and wisdom. In the shadow of violence, we remember we are all connected in love. In the shadow of violence, we recommit to working for a better world. In the shadow of violence, we find comfort and courage in each other. We grieve together.
I cannot think of the master who walk with me no more. Along the path of life I tread, they are but gone before. They are but gone before. And still their silent ministry within my heart has place, as when on earth they walked with me and met me face to face, and met me face to face. Their lives are made forever mine. What they to me have been has left henceforth its seal and sign, engraven deep within, engraven deep within. Their lives are mine for ownership, nor time nor death can free. For God has given to love to keep its own eternally, its own eternally. Please be seated. Today's only reading is from oops, I am so sorry, Andrea. Nope, you're absolutely right. I'm just overeager. Please come.
Good morning. This morning's story for the Time for All Ages is a delightful story entitled What the Road Said by Cleo Wade. You should be able to see the pictures, up on the monitors. And we shall begin. Have you ever wanted to go in a different direction? Have you ever wondered if there was something more, something out there, something just different? I did too. Then one day I was walking my usual way home when, out of nowhere, for no reason at all, almost as if it were magic, a road appeared. Could not believe my eyes, so I walked over to it, and I said to the road, "Where do you lead?" And the road said, be a leader, find out. How do I start? I asked. The road smiled and said, you have already started. Well, what happens when I get there? We have just begun, said the road. Do not skip straight to the ending. Enjoy the beginning and the middle too. Unless you're in Nebraska, that's an editor's note. Which way do I go? That is your choice to make, said the road. But what if I go the wrong way? The road curved a little, almost as if it was giving me a hug and said, do not worry. Sometimes we go the wrong way on our way to the right way. What if I get scared? This is okay. You are brave, said the road. Being brave is when you are afraid of doing something, but you do it anyway. Do not let what scares you keep you from continuing the path. The road guided me through a very gloomy forest. Even though I was frightened, I trusted the road, and I took one step, then another step, and another step. And after that, I asked, will I always move forward? Not always, said the road. Why not? Because sometimes you will stumble backwards and sometimes you will stand still. What if I fall? Everyone falls at some point, said the road, but I will always be there when you land. What if I get lost? There may be some days that feel long and dark, said the road, but I promise that no matter what, I will give you evening stars and morning sun to light your way. What if I grow weary or hurt? Then I will give you trees of all shapes and sizes to shelter you when you need to rest and heal, said the road. What if I get lonely? You are never alone, said the road. What if I change? Come with me, said the road. And as I moved forward, the road introduced me to a caterpillar and a family of seeds. We did not stay long. The road began taking me on a journey through the seasons. I watched summer turn to fall, and fall turned to winter, and spring was upon us. I realized we had gone in one big, beautiful circle. I looked down and found I was standing in front of the caterpillar and the seeds once more. Only the caterpillar was no longer a caterpillar, and the seeds had turned to flowers of every color swaying in the sun. The road then raised me up and said, all things grow and change. This is the magic of being alive. You too will find your wings. You too will bloom. No living thing is meant to stay the same. What if I need help on my journey? Ask your fellow travelers along the way. What if they are mean to me? Lead them to kindness, said the road. How? By being kind. What if they want to fight? Lead them to peace, said the road. But how do I lead them to peace? By listening to their stories, telling them yours, and reminding them that you are all on this journey together. What if this world around us is filled with hate? Lead it to love. How? By sharing the power of your love with it, said the road. What if something unexpected happens? Keep going. What if there are mountains that feel too tall to climb? What if there are rivers that feel too tall, too wide to cross? What if I get my heart broken? What if I feel stuck? What if giving up is easier? Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, said the road. What if I can't do it? You can, said the road. How do you know? Because you have come this far, said the road. I said to the road, where do you lead? The road said, be a leader and find out.